are back.
We are back. News. Let's go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome.
What's up?
Jump right in and talk about what is going on today. As I think all of us are happy to know, the PlayStation 5 event has been rescheduled, and it has been rescheduled for June 11th.
They posted on their official blog, "Hi all, thanks for being patient and understanding while we rescheduled this PS5 event for Thursday, June 11th at 1 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 p.m. BST. We needed to step aside so key voices could be heard during this historic and important time."
We don't have a lot of information regarding what to expect from the PlayStation 5 event. Sony did confirm that it would show PS5 games and gameplay, but beyond that, we don't know if it'll finally address any of the other big topics such as price, release date, or what the physical system will actually look like.
There are a lot of mysteries still shrouding the PS5 and what exactly we're going to see with this event, but I'm glad they pushed it. I'm excited for, June 11th, and I hope that it's going to be as exciting as we're all hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, 3 days away. We're talking Thursday, so definitely make sure you tune in on Thursday because we'll be showing everything that we see at the live event. I'm very excited. I hope we get to actually see the console because that would just be amazing. Or like we've said before, seeing the controller in action to get the idea, what is the DualSense? What is this haptic feedback?
And since it will be at 1 p.m. Pacific time and the news starts at 2 p.m. Pacific time, we'll be also giving you the lowdown if you happen to miss the event, / if you want our opinions and our take on what happened during that event as well.
Looking forward to that. Yes, Neon Punk, you are on time because we just did our quick first one, which is the rescheduling of the PlayStation event for June 11th.
Live reaction. We won't even have time to process what's going to be happening on Thursday.
We just got to be reacting.
Tune right into this.
Our next story is one that if you are a Destiny 2 player and you were excited about their Fortnite-like live event, I'll just go ahead and say it was like watching paint dry.
So horrible. So the internet reacted to Destiny 2's slowly exploding spaceship. And it was unfortunately not quite what some players were expecting. Instead of something monumental and game-changing for a key part of the game world, it was more of a slow burn, alternative to a standard video game cutscene that went over the course of 90 minutes.
And instead of delivering a strong narrative payoff on a season's worth of otherwise dull and repetitive activities, the almighty event ended without any meaningful change in direction or surprising new development.
For the last 3 months, developer Bungie has been building up a clash between the Destiny world's artificial intelligence supercomputer Rasputin and a large planet-destroying ship called the Almighty.
All of the past season's activities have revolved around communicating with the AI character, a largely mysterious fixture in Destiny lore before this season, and doing a series of rehashed game modes and resource collecting in service of an eventual showdown between Rasputin and the Almighty.
Every time I read that name, I just think of that one song and the Just Dance to it, if anyone knows that. So over the last month, players were asked to participate in a mind-numbing number of public event activities to unlock an old Destiny 1 weapon and a brief story mission with the promise of more to come at season's end.
And some players expected that the Almighty was actually going to crash into the game's tower social hub. Others expected an actual cutscene or perhaps some form of a real-time space battle that would destroy or in some substantial way change the tower. What we actually got was a severely understated form of the latter in which the image of the Almighty changed in excruciatingly slow fashion with new animations and eventually a brief scene of its destruction and crash landing. Yet the whole execution felt a bit slapdash and ultimately underwhelming.
The event got off to a bumpy start when at the scheduled 1 p.m. Eastern start time, nothing appeared to happen. The delay, whether intentional or not, lasted for more than 20 minutes, but it did give players ample time to load into the tower and to join in with any other collaborative antics other players were engaging in.
Eventually, players began to notice very subtle changes in the sky in the form of large clusters of laser beams just racing towards the Almighty. Well, slowly moving towards the Almighty. And the process appeared to be dynamic, so the lasers grew closer over time, but at a painfully slow pace that just made it really hard to track minute-by-minute movement.
The lasers made contact at around 1:50 p.m. ET, nearly a full hour after the event supposedly first launched. It is unclear if there was actually an initial reel at first or if Bungie purposefully designed it to be as slow-moving as it actually was.
And as we approached nearly the 90-minute mark after the event started, the ship began to explode in apparent slow motion. That's when the one exciting portion of the event actually kicked in as the Almighty began crashing towards the surface of Earth. Bits of debris began flying off. This was the only actual dynamic part of the experience, and everything else felt like a series of subtle screenshot changes to in-game sky.
Regardless of the overall quality in this almighty event, experiments like these represent, for the first time, Destiny 2 living up to the series' original promise of a shared, living, and ever-changing world. They help the game better straddle the line between shooter and MMO, even if it's taken quite a few years and nearly 2 full games to get there. So when I hear about companies trying to put on Fortnite-like events, this is exactly what I feared would happen, is some really lackluster explosion that they want everyone to come in and watch, but it doesn't actually do anything or mean anything.
Yeah, this was awful. This was just a complete failure. And it's really disappointing as someone who played 4 years of Destiny and Destiny 2, and I stopped playing after the last season. Was exactly as we just said, repetitive and basically doing the same thing over and over again to get your first really big live event, and it be that. And it started off delayed, like not even there wasn't. They could have thrown in a DJ. I mean, they increased the prices at the Eververse store. And they've just been taking money from the skins and the visuals and all the emotes, and they put none of it into this event.
Nothing
horrible
happened at the event. It didn't even seem like the map changed at all or it really had an effect on anything. Someone said that 20 minutes wasn't a long time. For me, 20 minutes is a long time. I saw some tweets that people had to miss the event because they had to leave and go to work, by the time it was halfway through. I mean, the Fortnite event, it was maybe 5 minutes to get started, and then it was a 10-15 minute event overall. And it was great. If I were waiting for 20 minutes, then I'd be worried that I would be not scammed, but with the Fortnite black hole, a lot of people were staring at their screen for 3 hours waiting for something to happen. And that's what I would feel if I were watching this Destiny event. I think maybe, 20 minutes in, I'd probably tap out and, maybe like leave OBS recording on my computer screen, but not actually sit there to see what's going to happen.
Right. And then you look at something like this, right? So they go Fortnite-like events. And you see these concerts, especially the Travis Scott one, and then you have the, even the Marshmello concert as well, the one with Star Wars. This compares in no way to a Fortnite-like event. It just doesn't.
No.
Like, you could have shown a cutscene that everyone watched. I would have rather them thrown up a movie screen at the tower and you watch it like a movie, and then that be done over the course of 3 minutes, than 90 minutes.
That's
and
way
no
too
payoff.
long. And no payoff. I love Maddie's comment. Time is money, Babby. The typo makes it even better. Nothing really happened with the event. As he said, 20 minutes is way too long. I don't know what they thought was going to come out of this. I think the best thing that came out of this was all the memes that everyone made in confusion while waiting for this to happen, where people were photoshopping Travis Scott into like the Destiny 2 world, or people were just like posting like baby Yodas or like random stuff because everyone was just so confused and lost. Like, I think that was the best community building aspect of this event here.
Yeah, memes were made very fast.
Very fast.
There were people tweeting the Destiny community manager. And I think one of the responses by the Destiny community manager was using the hold GIF from Braveheart, which I was like, no, stop it.
No, thanks. No,
stop
cut
it.
that out.
Just admit your failure, and then say we've learned our lesson and move on. But I would say that anyone who's been torn and on the fence with Destiny 2 and whether or not they should continue to invest their time into this game, if that's what their Fortnite-like events are going to be, is that really where you want to invest your time and money into?
And this isn't great to hear as someone who doesn't really play Destiny, but there was the Olympics between the classes, and you were saying that it wasn't fair because everyone's a hunter, I believe, and there's just no competition at all, so there's no point in having an Olympics. And if their live events are going to be this, where it's like watching one of those live screensavers or like slow TV. It's not going to interest me. And as you're saying, if the raids are repetitive, if the game is just a repetitive grind over and over again, I don't understand what the draw would be to get new players or returning players like yourself to come back to Destiny 2. I feel like this phrase of Fortnite-like events is kind of the loot boxes of 2020, where everyone thinks it's the hot thing, everyone wants to do it. They think it's exciting, but don't really understand what it means to have a Fortnite-like event.
Yeah. And then, you know, the term Fortnite-like event. Is this going to be, you know, loot boxes of 2020, where every game developer and, you know, online game is like, we're going to be doing these Fortnite-like events?
And Fortnite has been doing it best. So if you're trying to do a Fortnite-like event, you have a very, very high bar to hit. I believe that Warzone actually can probably do a great job with it. We were talking about maybe the nuclear warheads and the bunkers and the second bunkers and, you know, how that works with the map. And I'm actually looking forward to see what they do with that. But taking a step back and looking at the bigger picture, is there a greater rise and fall than Bungie?
I don't know. This point, I feel like with their journey from Halo, the issues they had with Microsoft disbanding and then partnering with Activision, and then people were very upset with how Activision and Bungie were handling things, and now Bungie's at where it's at. Yeah, they've definitely fallen down that ladder.
It's quite, they've had such quite a rise and fall with Halo, and then not making Halo anymore, and then everyone excited for Destiny, and then Destiny's not really doing anything. And then there was kind of promises of a Destiny comeback that, you know, Bungie was going to have a tighter hold on the reins and be able to make it a great game, but we haven't seen that yet. And I think so many gamers still have a special place for Bungie in their hearts, but right now it's letting them down.
Yeah. I wonder if they know that too. You know what I mean? I wonder if there's like a sense from Bungie that they recognize they're not living up to the standard in which they first put themselves on the scene with an iconic game like Halo.
So iconic. And I think they're in a little bit of a different category than Bethesda, because a lot of people have already completely lost faith in Bethesda, but I think a lot of gamers still want to see good things from Bungie, and they're like, Bungie, you can do it, we believe, please just put out good content. And I wonder how long that's going to last before people might give up on Bungie for good.
Yep, I agree with that too. Tony Santana, you take that back. That is in no way true with everything right now. Bethesda will always be great. No, they were once great. And
They've
Bungie was once great as well, too.
It was. You said Bethesda can still make it, but Bungie, I feel the opposite way. I think Bungie can still make it, but Bethesda has a little bit gone by the wayside.
You gotta believe.
Not doing very well, especially with the Elder Scrolls 6. Who knows when that's going to come out? I don't know if anyone plays ESO, but the Greymore expansion is coming out, or sometime this week, I believe. And I don't know how many people are excited for that, but Fallout 76 was a disaster. The expansion on it was a disaster. We've been seeing not some great things from those.
What is it? StarCraft or whatever the game was, Star Force, or, you know, sucky Star game.
Starfield,
which you know nothing about.
That is so salty. Iconic.
Oh
nothing like building a good community around your game by trashing on the people that are asking for information about it.
I will say this. I think Bungie will always have the reputation that fans will allow them second chances, third chances, and fourth chances, and fifth chances, because, you know, and sixth chances and seventh chances.
Oh God!
Because
I'd give
and
Bungie
eighth
a
chances
chance.
and ninth. Just because of Halo.
That's so
I think
sad.
Halo just impacted everyone on a really big level, but yeah, they gotta change it up and do something different.
Yeah, right. It's that toxic friend you just keep letting come back. It's like your friend that you swear you're not going to hang out with anymore, but you're like, yeah, why not? Why not join the party? Can't help it.
It's become the Eric Cartman of video games.
Yes. That is so sad.
Funny.
But on a lighter note, our next topic of today is that Riot teases new pool party League of Legends skins by showing only champions' legs.
Ooh, guys, I wonder if you're excited about this.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to see which champions they are.
So they've given some fans a sneak peek at the Pool Party League of Legends skins today, showing off the champions' legs as they dip their feet into the bright blue water. While little information has been revealed on who these champs are, fans have plenty of clues and feet to go off of.
And honestly, watching this trailer just makes me want to go outside to a beach and enjoy the sun. But one can dream. So Pool Party Talia was previously teased in League's 2020 plans, which showed the Stoneweaver riding a monster wave on her surfboard. The champion on the far right, lounging on her surfboard, is likely Talia.
What's up, Stuart? Yeah, and a few champions have robotic legs. Oriana, along with a whale floaty as her ball, is likely on the far left. And the rest of the Pool Party roster is harder to figure out, however.
An umbrella topped with a golden trident head can potentially be Jarvan 4 in his spear. A pair of furry feet likely points to a Yordle basking in the sunlight, perhaps bringing Teemo or Heimerdinger to the Pool Party skin line. And a tattooed leg may tease Jinx or Karma.
Riot will likely reveal all of the Pool Party skins soon, since they'll hit the PBE before releasing on the live servers.
I don't know anyone who's not a fan of the Pool Party skins. It's a line that's pretty classic. I mean, Cake said, like, I still remember Pool Party skins. It's still relevant, and they just keep adding new champions to the line. And they're always just, like, fun and silly, and everyone's in, like, pool floaties versus usually being in, like, intense, like, blood masks and, like, orbs. Like, this is just, like, floaties in the sun.
Yeah.
I love how much speculation there is. Some people have said, like, the purple volleyball looks like one of Syndra's abilities. The thing floating in the water could be Rumble's turret. A lot of people are hoping that the crossed legs in the middle are Jinx with an ankle monitor, as if she just, like, broke out of, like, the asylum or jail or something to go to the pool.
That's awesome. Stuart, this is the Caffeine Channel News Hour. Welcome to the show. We are jumping through news within the gaming industry. Yeah, I noticed that too. I like the Bigfoot trying the whoever's big leg big legs those are trying to get the flip flop sandal the whole time, like knocking it over and then not being able to grab it. I like the personality that they've thrown in here. I know none of these characters, but just the vibe that you get from this is one that having a community starting to speculate and be really excited about. Bungie, take notes. You know, it would be really it'll be really cool when they actually say who everyone is officially.
And a lot of, for those who don't play League, a lot of people who do play League will talk about the interactions between these characters. So as you said, like the flip-flop going back and forth in game, if that is like Jinx and Taric, like if there is a Jinx and Taric in game, they'll be like, hey, give me back my flip-flop. And like people will like, you know, engage in that lore because it's fun and because a lot of people really know about it. I'm looking forward to maybe there's like a curveball in there. The flower on Talia's surfboard looks like Nico's flower that she has in her hair, and I would love a Nico skin. So do you think that the culture around skins and in-game fashion are overlooked? Because we have Fortnite fashion shows now, and you know, League of Legends skins are big and people spend thousands and thousands of dollars on them.
Yeah, I would hope they're not overlooked. I very much view skins as a staple in gaming now, especially ones with big online communities. It's the way to allow individuals to express themselves through their avatar. You know, you need that amount of customization and variety. I would say Fortnite's probably doing one of the better jobs than most. Who would you say has like the best skins in your opinion?
I would say, I guess off the top of my head, probably Fortnite, League of Legends, or Overwatch. I am so happy with League of Legends skins also because I play popular champions, which have a ton of skins. But I know some people who play maybe lesser played champions or less popular champions, and some only have maybe like one skin, really, like maybe two. Because Riot likes to put out skins for the popular champions because that's their moneymaker, really. I like Fortnite's customization. Some of Fortnite skins are like super weird and troll. I think people generally like troll skins a lot. Like even in League, there's skins that are like, oh, this one's definitely not Draven, and it'll be like Draven in like a fake disguise, or like something like really like weird. Or there's like Barbecue Leona, where she's just like holding up like barbecue mitts and like sausages, and it's just like super like random and silly and fun. As someone who is super superficial and cannot play an avatar or a character if I think that they're ugly, I'm a big fan of skins, and it's always nice to hear when other people are really about skins, because then I don't feel so alone in judging on appearances of my video game characters.
Yeah, I hear that. I think, yeah, I would say probably Fortnite is doing it the best. I know Overwatch has a strong popularity for its skins right now. I think Warzone's doing it a little bit. They do have some skins in there that are very interesting and more along the, realistic aspect of skins that could work in that reality. But yeah, other than that, I don't know. I don't know who else is like on top when it comes to visuals for your avatar.
I think Modern Warfare and Warzone are doing a great job with. They have like a Fortnite weapon wrap, and they have that like anime one. And I hope they lean in more to that, because this game is so arcadey and fun. And I know a lot of people like it because it is more, realistic. But I think within that, there's a lot of trolls. I mean, we saw there's like a lot of hackers. There's a lot of, people like really playing this game just for kicks. And I think it would be cool to see even like more trolley skins and wraps from them.
Yeah, that would be the right way to do it.
And I think I've noticed when new skins come out, it's also a big deal for the creative community, because I'll see a lot of like cosplayers or a lot of artists or a lot of people doing crossovers. And it becomes like a springboard for a lot of content that's created, or like a lot of YouTube videos about it. And I'm always a big fan of more skins. I don't know how hard it is for some of them to be developed. I'm sure it's, very labor intensive, but I am all about it. And I do like how it's a way to support a game without feeling like you have to buy it. It's not pay to win at all.
Right.
It's you're just paying for it voluntarily because you like this purely aesthetic thing that does not affect gameplay. And I think it's a good way to support a game that doesn't feel like a scam. It's not a loot box.
Yeah. I was just thinking about it. Actually, Rocket League has a really good skins aspect to its game. The customization of wheels, paint, different colors, and the variety. That's another one I would say is really strong. But games that are focusing on having a very strong online community need to make sure that this is something that they focus on as well. I think this is very important to allow the people who play the game their freedom of expression, and give them this, plethora of looks to choose from and colors to use. And if they want to be trolls, they can. Just allow that to be the case.
And a lot of times it's players like signature. Like if someone plays Smash and like on their Pikachu, they always have this certain outfit. People know, they're like, oh, I know it's this player. Like I see like their specific Pikachu that they've got there. And it's definitely like their signature, their cherry on top of their gameplay, that like, this is their skin. These are their moves.
Yeah. What's up, Phoenix? Well, moving on to the next story is somebody decided to turn Half-Life Alyx into PT.
Horrifying.
So
even though PT was just a playable teaser for a game that we will never actually get to play, it still haunts many people's memories. Now, someone is trying to recreate the terrifying game using the Half-Life Alyx engine.
And this creation is simply titled PT. It's a Source 2 VR map that's being created by Steam user Ambient Druth. It aims to totally recreate as much of the original PT demo as possible. And currently, it contains the famous looping hallways, the red hallway ending, and the strange paper bag that talks to the player. Ambient Druth plans on adding more to their map, including Easter eggs, more creepy noises, multiple endings, more PT-accurate textures, and a flashlight.
The Half-Life Alyx mapping in the modding community is still growing since the game's late March release, but people are already creating impressive things. For example, someone has ported some Portal 2 maps into the new engine with fully working buttons and physics. No portal gun, at least not yet.
And another person created a mini golf map in the engine. It currently only has one hole, but the creator plans on adding more soon.
I think that this is a great jumping off point because when we initially heard about the modding community, coming to Half-Life Alyx, we knew that there were going to be so many possibilities to be created from this. And I am not disappointed to see that someone has already recreated PT and is also working on Portal.
Yeah, I think this is an easy TBE, right? This is to be expected behavior within the modding community and especially within the VR community. We need more stuff like this. And what I think is great is when someone creates something like this that becomes, very popular and people are interested in it, more people will be inspired to create and, give their own, creative expression within virtual reality, which we need to see more of.
Absolutely. And it's also great to see that a lot of these are just works in progress. Like it's not a finalized game. You can just have kind of the entry level experience to a lot of this, but it really does show that, this is really a project that is going to just improve. And I think people are just going to make more intricate and even more intricate games from this.
Yeah. And if you were to think about it, what would you say if there could be a Valve game made with the Half-Life Alyx modding right now? What would you look for?
What would I look for? I feel like I'd want a game. I haven't played Heavy Rain yet, but I'd want something like Heavy Rain where it's very dependent on it's very atmospheric. I would say is the next level of like immersion into that.
I think Team Fortress would be a lot of fun within VR. And if they could find a way to make Team Fortress work, like a 5v5, you get the different characters, the different power-ups. I think that would be a lot of fun and an online game experience in VR that would probably draw in a lot of people. I used to play this game so much.
I know a lot of people don't really understand the effect that VR has until you tried it. I was scrolling through the Oculus Quest store and there's Tetris Effect, which is a Tetris VR game. And the reviews were so high and people are writing like, this game made me cry. This game was so beautiful. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's just Tetris in VR. But like, it was just such a different experience to like be underwater with the sharks or like be on the side of like a volcano. And it's a totally different experience. I think puzzle games are especially cool in VR. Atmospheric stuff is definitely up my alley. And even a lot of Telltale things as well. I'm still playing that Down the Rabbit Hole VR game, and it's kind of like it's like you're looking at a dollhouse, and
you can move yourself around, right?
Yes,
like up and down.
Yeah, you can move yourself up and down, and the more you progress in the story, the deeper you go down the rabbit hole. And
you can look back up, right?
Yes, I'm always looking up to being like, wow, I'm so like deep in this. Like, how would I climb out? Like, if I had to do that, and it's super super cool.
Yeah, my main in Team Fortress was medic. I loved being the support class in that game and ensuring everyone was surviving. That is an answer to your question, Neon.
What's up, David?
Yeah, and then I think there could be something to be said about having a Portal experience in virtual reality. That might also get really painful to experience, stepping through and potentially having that moment where you're moving through the two portals. That could probably, you're like, yeah, okay, I'm not playing this game anymore. So.
I think something like Rock Band might even be really cool in VR because like you'd be like on the stage, you'd be like performing and have your audience there. I think a game like The Sims might be like too real. It's like you're living life but fake. It's like it's happening around you, but it's also not because you're like in the game yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like if I played The Sims in VR, it might give me like an existential crisis.
Yeah, that's true. I think I would have that same kind of.
Like, why don't I just live my real life with my real friends?
What am I doing?
What am I doing? Does the chat have any ideas of games that they'd like to see get the Alyx treatment of being created in VR? Beat Saber is pretty nice. Beat Saber is pretty nice in itself. NASA Space Sim would be cool. World of Warcraft. I would like to see an MMO in VR.
Yeah, Serious Sam would be intense.
Can they make
Doom
FIFA better?
VR was intense. FIFA, yeah.
Doom VR would be intense. Tetris, they have Tetris Effect. Made some people
Is there
cry.
one that like this needs to be in VR?
I'm trying to think of games I played. I feel like something like Breath of the Wild would be super relaxing in VR.
That's a great choice there. Bioshock in VR.
Bioshock would be terrifying in VR.
Crazy. Tetris VR is great. I enjoyed playing it very much.
Doki Doki, or something like Danganronpa, Anime Murder Mystery in VR.
I hope, yes. I hope Tetris has a special place in everyone's heart, that they love Tetris.
It's good stuff. It's always stressful. I can always count on being stressed when I play Tetris.
Yeah, there is an aesthetic when you're playing Tetris VR in Tetris Effect that you see it as you would normally see it on like a handheld or on your screen, but then you have everything else around you, like the whale that's moving through space, and then the one that's kind of like a tribal one, and then the underwater one. It just kind of just adds to this different layer, and the music's just beautiful.
I'll have to try it. That sounds fun. No one said anything bad about Tetris Effect. All around good stuff. Dead Space in VR would be nightmare fuel. Definitely.
Oh my God. No, thank you. I'll pass.
I'll pass on that one.
Yeah. That's like saying, you want to play Outlast in VR?
No, I don't actually.
No, I don't.
Thank you for asking. So moving on to our next topic of today, how Xbox Smart Delivery works.
Yeah, so at the surface level, Xbox Smart Delivery feels like a branded way to say free upgrade. But according to this recent Polygon article, breaking down what the feature is, there's definitely a lot more to it.
In February, Microsoft announced some of the key features arriving with its next video game console, the Xbox Series X. That post wasn't merely a laundry list of speeds and feeds. It was both a technological and a philosophical statement, a roadmap for what consumers should expect when they buy their next Xbox.
One of the most interesting parts of that post was the introduction of smart delivery, something that absolutely can save you money down the road, and here's how.
The Polygon article uses the example of Skyrim as a window of what smart delivery will ideally look like.
And as the article points out, Skyrim was the first released in 2011 on PlayStation 3, Windows PC, and Xbox 360. The Xbox One came out in 2013, but Skyrim was never included in Microsoft's backwards compatibility program. So in 2016, Bethesda released the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition, a new version of the game with upgraded graphics for the PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Fans who already owned the game on Xbox 360 had to buy it again. I was one of them. Meanwhile, people who already owned the PC version of Steam got Skyrim Special Edition as a free upgrade.
Which would make me salty if I were not part of PC Master Race.
Oh, I was.
Smart delivery should accomplish the same thing as Skyrim's free PC upgrade. It'll help end the issue of buying the same console game multiple times. Microsoft describes it as a technology that, quote, empowers you to buy a game once and know that whether you are playing it on Xbox One or Xbox Series X, you are getting the right version of that game on whatever Xbox you're playing on.
And Microsoft hasn't yet delineated how smart delivery works on a technical level, but the messaging is plain. If a game supports smart delivery, you'll only need to buy one copy of it to play it on either the modern Xbox consoles. And when you do, you can rest assured that you'll be playing the best version of the game for that particular platform.
This is the sort of thing that fans on PC have enjoyed for a long, long time. Skyrim isn't an anomaly. PC games regularly get upgraded for free, which allows players to take advantage of hardware improvements like more powerful GPUs and better monitors. In this way, smart delivery will bring Xbox gaming more in line with PC gaming.
And here's where things get sketchy. Microsoft commits that it will use smart delivery for every Xbox Game Studio title. That commitment means that all of the company's upcoming first-party games like Halo Infinite will work on both consoles.
And the game you see on the screen is Bright Memory Infinite. There's currently a version of it available out for early access, I believe, or the beta on Steam. Electronic Arts, which calls its system Dual Entitlement, was one of the first third-party publishers to make its position on smart delivery known. It initially stated that it would only offer upgrades from Xbox One to Xbox Series X for Madden NFL 21, not the other way around, for a limited time. After fans cried foul, EA reversed its course.
And notably, EA makes no mention of its offer going both ways. That means if you purchase Madden NFL 21 for the Xbox Series X, you should not expect to be able to play the game on Xbox One.
What's up, Odie? So one thing is
Odie.
clear, however, Smart Delivery is pro-consumer because it makes cross-generational console compatibility possible and prevents fans from having to buy the same game twice. Microsoft has committed to using that technology for all of its Xbox Game Studios titles. Now it's up to other developers and publishers, and Sony, Microsoft's biggest competitor in the console space, to make their own philosophical positions on this subject known.
Do you think we need a smart delivery, aka buy a game once? And do you think it'll be a widely adopted feature of the next gen systems?
I really like this feature, especially because with the next gen consoles, there might be a shortage of consoles, especially for games like Cyberpunk 2077 or Ghost of Tsushima that also come out before the release of these consoles. I think it's something that a lot of people really want to see, and something that I would expect is to be able to play those games on the next gen console. I understand why some developers don't really seem to be on board with doing this, but at the same time, I think personally, I guess when there's a transition between consoles, I would feel uncomfortable buying a completely new console and having a limited amount of games I could buy on that versus having, the security of knowing I can play some of my games on there through Smart Delivery.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think when I bought Skyrim for the third time for PC, I had a moment of like, I should not have had to do this. I should not have had to buy this game 3 times. And that kind of aspect of consumerism is something that I hope all gaming companies are getting rid of. I hope the interest of smart delivery is one that, the demand is high, so these other platforms will deliver that. And they recognize that, we shouldn't be asking our consumers to make a purchase more than once for the same thing that they've already bought once before. You don't find that in any other business.
No, and as the article stated already for PC, like once you buy a game, you have the game. I can take apart my whole computer. I could have a totally new computer. But once I sign into Steam, I can play a game that I bought in 2010 if I wanted to. Also, with having to buy the same game multiple times, one of the few games that I've done that for is Stardew Valley. I have a copy on Steam and I have a copy on my Switch. I understand there's not a lot of Switch PC, crossover or cross saves in that sense, but it does keep me from playing the game more, because instead of just continuing what I've already started on PC, which is a lot of hours, I have to restart the whole game and I have to redo a lot of progress, versus if I already had what I started on PC, I would probably be a lot farther in the game and be more invested in it.
You would, for sure. And that is true. That would, especially those games that are like 60 hours and hundreds of hours open world, that you're like, what, I gotta restart all of this?
No way, not doing that. If I
my save files to transfer, no problem.
So what do you think is a worse name? Smart Delivery or Dual Entitlement?
Dual Entitlement.
I think Dual Entitlement, it sounds like it sounds like something really derogatory. It's like, oh, they're so condescending. They have dual entitlement.
Yeah.
Like it's
I think dual entitlement has like this air of just I guess the word would say like arrogance.
Right. It sounds like someone's just double arrogant. Yeah. Also with Smart Delivery, it makes me think that it's like Amazon Prime or something.
Yeah.
I understand, I guess, how it fits if I'm buying it digitally. So maybe I download it to my Xbox One and it's delivered smartly as the Xbox One version. If I download it to my Xbox Series X, it's delivered as that. But if it's a disc that I'm putting in each machine, I don't understand the delivery part. I guess I understand the smart part, but it's more of like, this should just work in both machines if it says it will. It should just be called will work on both machines.
Yeah, or like one and done.
One and done.
You know,
Just buy one and that's it.
One and done. You got it once. You don't need to pay for it again. That's what it is. Yeah. I feel like smart delivery is just, there were just a group of people sitting in a windowless room going, we need to figure out a phrase that resonates with everyone and makes them feel intelligent and also makes them feel like they're getting what they want at a speed that they're used to.
Smart delivery. That's the perfect name.
That's it. That's what it is.
That's it. I thought it was, I guess, strange that, so if you buy, the Xbox Series X will have backwards compatibility, but also if you buy Madden for Xbox Series X, you won't be able to play it on an Xbox One. So
Yeah.
I guess it would benefit someone to buy the Xbox One version and then I guess play that probably lower quality or less complex game on their Xbox Series X, and it kind of just it just doesn't seem like a good option.
I think you just found like a loophole. I think you just found a
just buy the lesser version, I guess. I don't know if they're the same cost.
Well,
dumb delivery gives you a different game.
It does. Back on topic of the article that we're discussing here. Do we think this is actually something that gamers will demand from, the big three, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo moving forward?
I hope so. As a lot of these consoles just become closer to being PCs. I mean, nothing has been officially stated, but we've been heavily speculating that maybe in the future we're going to see mouse and keyboards, able to be plugged into some of these consoles. And these consoles have a lot bigger SSDs than a lot of people's gaming PCs right now. And the technology is really merging into one. So I hope there is more pressure that that this is a normal thing, because this has been available on PC for a while. And I really hope that we see more of this. For example, I also want to see more companies being pressured to issue refunds like brick and mortar stores. If you buy an item and it goes on sale the next day, you can have that amount refunded to you. And I think a lot of practices that are already commonplace but have somehow been red taped off and they don't apply to consoles. I think that we're going to see more pressure on that as the technologies converge.
Yeah. And knowing that these consoles, which, have the power of a top of the line gaming PC, they're designed differently. They're designed to specifically handle gaming, and not have to worry about, file storage and, Microsoft Word and all these other types of documents. So this really allows the consoles to stand out, that I feel like if, just looking at it as myself, I believe it's a reasonable expectation to demand more of this going forward in the next gen consoles.
And I think on the one hand, I'm always skeptical about Nintendo, and I think that they'll never give in. But I was shocked to see, The Witcher 3 and The Outer Worlds on Nintendo Switch, and I think that they're becoming more open to having, their console be the ultimate handheld. And I hope that translates into having games, at least with the next generation of console, that you don't have to repurchase the same game over again.
Yeah. Agreed. We'll see what happens and keep our eye on this smart deliveries acceptance and see how many people are like, yes, give us more. I
need extra smart delivery. I need triple entitlement delivery going forward.
Now.
I need it right now.
Well, our final story is one for all you Harry Potter fans out there. Probably been asking a question, why haven't we had our major game come out? Well, looks like some leaked information is revealing more, and it is showing possibility of a release date, title, as well as gameplay features.
A potentially massive leak for the rumored Harry Potter RPG just dropped. The source claims to work for Warner Brothers marketing, though their claims are unverified. As such, this Harry Potter leak is best considered unreliable, but is interesting to consider nevertheless.
So first, the leak reveals that the game's title is to be called Hogwarts: A Dark Legacy, rather than featuring the Harry Potter branding. The rest of the leak details what's said to be the Harry Potter's RPG's various gameplay features.
According to the leak, players take on the role of a student enrolled at Hogwarts. They're a fifth-year student who transferred in from a different school, which explains why they're already a capable wizard or witch. The game features a light character customization system that isn't super detailed but still looks good. This customization system allows the player to pick a witch or wizard, as well as other basic cosmetic changes. Players will also choose whether to be pureblood, half-blood, or muggle-born, which has gameplay ramifications.
Which Hogwarts wizarding house a player is sorted into is dependent on a player's early gameplay decisions, and it does matter. Each wizarding house is said to have its own unique questline to follow and will lead to meaningful consequences in the story, including character deaths. Regardless of house, players are always the hero and eventually go on to become an Auror,
Or I believe.
Auror.
Yes.
Even Slytherin can't join the villains, though the big villain is said to be a former Death Eater.
And an Auror is kind of the police against those who use the dark arts. So you're protecting the wizarding world. The story of the game takes place years after the ending of the Harry Potter novels, with the Potter's children having graduated. That said, a lot of Harry Potter characters are said to appear, including Potter himself. Warner Brothers is planning multiple sequels for the game, though it isn't clear if there'll be direct sequels featuring the same protagonist.
And there are several other smaller details revealed too, like that the game is dark and meant for adults who grew up with Harry Potter. There will be a romance option that can grow into marriages, and players will also have an NPC companion for missions that players have some control over, and house points are involved in the game too to some degree.
As far as leaks go, this one is incredibly robust. That both makes it very likely to be faked, but also very interesting to consider. Obviously, it sounds like exactly the kind of Harry Potter game that fans would want. It lets players have the full Harry Potter experience. That should also make fans weary though, because the leak does seem to overpromise. It must be said, however, that Warner Brothers has delivered these kinds of huge, sprawling games in both the Batman and Mordor series.
And the leaker's final notes is that Hogwarts: A Dark Legacy will release around June 2021, but that it's planned to be revealed before August. And honestly, we're hoping to hear more soon.
What do we think of these potential leaked details? I mean, when I'm hearing about this as someone who grew up with Harry Potter, read the books, watched the movies, this is exactly the kind of Harry Potter game I would want. I want something super dark, super gritty. I want to, compete for house points and play Quidditch and go on different quests. And it almost sounds too good to be true. No, it does sound too good to be true, honestly.
I think when I saw the footage of this game in action, there was a leaked trailer that came out last year sometime. It was like a 4-minute video and showed various scenes. It's a third person over the shoulder camera, kind of like The Witcher. Your cursor is your reticle for, when you're spell casting. And it was really cool. You could slot in 3 spells. So that looked really awesome because that reminded me again of The Witcher with like the magic. Which one do you want in there and which one do you want taken out? I love the information that they're saying. To me, when you say overpromise, I don't feel that. I feel this is quite achievable with what they did with Shadow of Mordor, with what we know has happened with, the Batman games, with what we've seen out of games like The Witcher. This makes sense that they've probably been working on this game for like 6-7 years now.
I hope so. This game has been under wraps. There have been a little bit of teasers. Fans have been wondering why we haven't had this game already. Maybe because it sounds like it's going to be a huge game and it's going to have a lot of moving parts. I guess I'm skeptical only because when I finally saw the last Harry Potter movies that came out, I had grown older and I was hoping for a really gritty ending. And watching it, I felt like this is a kid's movie. Like I grew up with it because I was a kid and I grew up with Harry Potter, and now I'm too old for it when I finally reached the final movie, which was kind of disappointing for me. I mean, I understand that it's not supposed to be for adults, but it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth because it felt like I was too old for this whole Harry Potter universe. So I hope that they are able to bring a lot of that back, because a lot of Harry Potter fans are older. A lot of people have Harry Potter tattoos or name their daughters Hermione. And I think that it would make them a lot of money if they created a meaningful experience for the Harry Potter fans that are still out there.
Yeah, so I would echo what you're saying, that it is the right choice to do a darker storyline, because the rise of Harry Potter fandom, especially within cinema, came from a lot of people around our age group, and now that we're older, you should be telling stories for an older audience. Also, the choice too of saying, each storyline plays out in a different way and it has these consequences, I think is also a very good, and an idea that I find to be realistic, that we even talked about before. What works very well with like the Telltale games is you make a decision on your character's journey and it impacts you in such a way where you've got to continue to play it out. But also the replayability factor is huge there, that you'll want to come back and play the game again.
It's huge, and it's been leaked that in this game you'll have to make some decisions early on, and then you get sorted into a house based on those decisions you made. I could totally see people restarting just to get into the house they want there, but it will make it a big difference, at least from the leak, as to how the game will progress, as to character deaths. That depends on what choices you make as well. I guess something that might hint on this being more geared towards older Harry Potter fans is that it also takes place in kind of the OG, Harry Potter setting. A lot of older fans that I know, a lot of my peers, they haven't seen the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them movies because it was kind of after their time. They read all the Harry Potter books, maybe like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, maybe they like read that side book as like a hobby, but it wasn't really a big part of the lore. And so once the final movie ended, it was kind of like, well, that's closing the book on Harry Potter, and the rest of the movies that have come out haven't really resonated with a lot of older audiences. So this game looks like it would.
Yeah. And then also taking into account too the decisions of like essentially having like a race choice. If you think of like Skyrim and other RPGs where the Muggle-born aspect, what does that mean for your talking to NPCs in the game, journeys, side quests, maybe cool unlocks, like getting to create 3 or 4 different students to play these characters in whatever sex you choose, male or female, and how they carry out interactions within that world. Also think about the Nemesis system, which the WB has when you think of the Shadows of Mordor, where you're going to have these enemies potentially that you face that learn how to combat you and go against you, and become this thorn in your side. They become your nemesis, so to speak. I'm also curious too if it's going to have any type of like graphic violence. If you think about some of these spells that do damage, and they're talking about it being dark, what are we going to see in that regard?
Right, a lot of these spells are you can paralyze someone and make them move around to their will, and a lot of them are pretty gruesome and pretty dark. And I think initially when I read about this leak and they were talking about character deaths, I was like, oh, that was pretty quick. They were talking about character deaths already. Like, this isn't a fun, bright, cheery Harry Potter game. Yeah. And as you said, with the Nemesis system and also being able to choose your race, I wonder if that is going to affect maybe your abilities. Maybe if you're a Muggle, you can't use magic quite as much, or maybe you're stronger if you're pure blood. I'm sure, as you said, it affects NPCs, and I'm like, a lot of people in the wizarding world don't like Muggles or don't like half-bloods, and I could see prejudice coming out in the storyline,
which would be great.
That it would be great. I guess the next thing I would want from a game like this is some sort of multiplayer or online mode. I think would be like the cherry on top of having the perfect all-around Harry Potter game.
That was my next thought, was what if they, kind of like what happened with The Last of Us, they implemented the multiplayer shortly afterwards. I think the same thing happened with Uncharted at some point, and then they included it. But what if there was like a Quidditch aspect to this game, where the multiplayer was the Quidditch matches, and that you could team up and play it that way?
That would be super cool. And of course I want more customization. I mean, any customization is better than no customization. But I think if typically we see with the introduction of online modes, there is more customization, so you don't have a bunch of characters that look the same when you're all paired up together.
Yeah, because in Shadow of War, it became that you could fly the drakes, the dragon-like creatures. You could fly those around. In the first game, I don't think you were able to do that. So, I believe they've already figured out that technology or that development within the game. Yeah, there it is. So it is very easy for me to
Very
believe
cool.
you could do the same thing on a broom and play Quidditch and it work. And that would be really cool too if you're like, yeah, I'm going to be going after the snitch, or no, I'm going to be focused on the play. Like, what kind of character do you build? And they've already got so much of the foundation of customization that you were addressing would be great, that I could easily see, creating your colors and adding that layer of avatar customization that I think all of us would love to play.
And I can already see at least informal Quidditch tournaments forming if that were a thing. I don't know if anyone's played Quidditch in real life, but it looks very difficult to actually run with a broom between your legs. But I could totally see the Harry Potter fans come out to have their own tournament.
Yeah, if they could hit this game mode like Rocket League hit their version of soccer.
Yes.
This could easily, I was just going to say,
esport.
Kai, you could make this a pro esport.
Definitely.
Yeah, this is also another thing that I would say, if somebody's trying to figure out how to make in VR another mode, Quidditch in VR would be pretty cool too.
Yes. Anyone taking notes? Anyone paying attention to those ideas, game developers? So what do you think would be our dream RPG created from a cinematic universe?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Chat, what do you think? Do you have a dream RPG created from a certain cinematic universe?
Already know.
What?
Highlander.
What's Highlander?
Highlander is a storyline surrounded by these individuals that are known as immortals, and they live for hundreds of years, and if not thousands. And you have to behead another Highlander to take their power, which is called a quickening, and then that makes you more powerful. And there are Highlanders that you can't fight on holy ground, but if you do, you get something called a dark quickening, which then eventually makes you evil. I mean, it's a really cool storyline and premise, but you could do this in a video game, and you could do it where like you journey through time playing as, whichever character that you want. And with how great, like, look at Ghost of Tsushima with sword fighting. I think they could do a wonderful RPG Highlander game. I would be all over that.
Not really a cinematic universe, but I would say Sword Art Online. And there are already Sword Art Online games, but apparently they're not that good. So I haven't paid the $60 to buy all of them. And everyone's like, we wanted a Sword Art Online game. This isn't quite it. So I'm still waiting for the next level of that, especially VR SAO would be ideal.
The other thing I would say too probably is take what they did from Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, the most recent DBZ game that has a lot of RPG elements, and then take what Jump Force was going to be, and then smash in a lot of the MMO aspect and give us a pure RPG, possibly MMO RPG Dragon Ball Z game where you create your race. If you want to be a Saiyan, if you want to be a Namekian, if you want to go through all those different races and create your character, and then actually build up your reputation in the MMORPG world based on being like the best fighter, and that your name gets like spread around and everything. That would be really cool.
Guys, I'm gonna go on a limb and say the Fast and Furious one, the game that we haven't failed to mention. Sorry to cut you. Kaisa, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I had to make sure I got in my point that the Fast and Furious game needs to be a full cinematic universe RPG. I'm just saying that.
We need the whole thing. We need the whole storylines, romances.
Is your Dominic Toretto skin gonna have a black tank top or a white tank top?
Is your car gonna be black or is it gonna be dark blue?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Getting spicy.
Is your Michelle Rodriguez avatar going to talk with a slightly deeper voice or more of a kind of higher pitched snarky voice?
Is she going to be kind of half-hearted in her lines, or are they actually going to sound good with the voice acting?
Is your Tyrese character going to have customizations for all the jokes he's going to make throughout the whole game? Or is it one of those things where they're just randomly picked by the game?
I need the whole RPG. I need the whole deal. Why hasn't anyone made this yet? Genuinely concerned. Wow. Genuinely confused.
Well, we have made it to the end of the Caffeine Channel News Hour for Monday of week 13, right?
Week 13.
Whew. Thank you all so much for
1-3.
being a part of this with us. We just really appreciate everybody who tunes in and chats. And for all of you that are watching at home, don't forget you can sign up and click the star to get notified when the Caffeine Channel goes live and to chat with us and throw in some of your thoughts and feedback as we talk about things within the gaming industry.
But don't go anywhere because we have Zand coming up next with some Star Citizen gameplay, and it is going to be super cool. So make sure you stick around for Zand. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Kaisa.
I am Marrone. We will see you guys tomorrow, but you guys have fun with Zand.
Bye.
Bye.